Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Jason Weiss, and we are here today on the Ask Jason Weiss Show with me, your host, Jason Weiss. I am an attorney who is in the coaching arena, getting more and more into it, picking up more and more clients, and I'm finding my niche in coaching and legal consulting. The other thing that I'm going to be doing, because I just re-upped it, is I am a certified Florida mediator, and I will be pushing that practice as well. Stay tuned. Hopefully, I will have some news in the next handful of months about that. But in the meantime, I am an attorney practicing law, doing all types of things. And before we get started, nothing discussed today constitutes legal advice. Should you seek legal advice, consult an attorney directly. Basically, what we're going to be talking about in a couple of minutes is single swag. Perfect timing. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. A little disheveled at the moment. Not sure if you can tell, but I didn't have this in my. I know we kind of had some detailed planning around this, but for some reason it wasn't in my calendar, so I was just wrapping up another call. But glad to
all
be here.
All good. I was just talking about how we have to go with the flow, and a little bit just about that. I'm exploring more and more in my mediation and coaching practice. So today we have Jonathan Beskin, who is the owner, creator, and the one-man band behind Singles Swag. And we did have Jonathan on a couple of months ago where we talked about just never giving up and going forward and fighting off all the naysayers. And we said that we were going to bring him back closer to Mother's Day, because if you are someone who has a mother or has a wife who's a mother or are a mother, what better to do for Mother's Day, which is 10 days, 12 days from now, than get them a phenomenal box from Singles Swag. So Jonathan, go ahead, introduce yourself just a little bit, where you're a South Florida guy, FAU, very well educated, but very, very, very driven, never give up. So talk a little bit about that. And then please promote Singles Swag, because I can attest from my wife and daughter's reaction when they got their boxes. They loved it. Loved it. My wife really, really liked it. My daughter, she said, I'm not sharing.
Yeah, well, thank you for that feedback, and I'm glad they loved it. Glad to send them another box following the call. And so I'm the founder and CEO of Single Swag. I also have another box that I bought in 2020 called Paradise Delivered. And both boxes include full-size women's lifestyle products, cosmetics, jewelry, fashion accessories, skincare items, books, food. But yeah, really my story is that I grew up with nothing. I'm actually releasing a book that's going to be out in late August called The Least Likely Millionaire. And it's kind of a memoir about my story and kind of some specific trauma and turmoil that I went through in my life, including being hospitalized as an adult for mental illness. And also some actionable takeaways for aspiring entrepreneurs and people that want to either start a business or improve their life, perhaps channel their anxiety in a more healthy way to be more productive, that type of thing. So there's a lot of that. One specific thing I'll mention that anyone who's watching or listening can take advantage of. So we do have a Mother's Day promotion on both Single Swag and Paradise Delivered, and everything we sell on the on these websites is not exclusive to boxes. So that's really the main thing. People sign up for our subscription service. They receive a box every month. It's very transparent. You can cancel at any time if you no longer want to receive it. But if you don't cancel, we send you a box every month. The box is different every month. And but we also have a shop on the website. So the shop contains mystery boxes, which are just boxes that we curate with some of our best-selling items. It also includes bundles where we put pieces of jewelry together, different packaging of 3 items of skincare that's been really popular. And we have a lot of individual items, and everything on the shop is already 50% off. In advance of Mother's Day, we offer an additional 30% off. So I'm not the best at math, but 50% with then 30% on top of that is 65 or 70% off total. And the code is MOMS, MOMS, for that on both Single Swag and Paradise Delivered.
That's awesome. So we've talked about Single Swag. I know all about Single Swag. What is Paradise Delivered? That honestly, that's new to me, and I should have done my research. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah. So Paradise Delivered, we market it as a vacation-inspired experience that you can enjoy from the comfort of your home. None of the products, for the most part, in Single Swag and Paradise Delivered are different. It's just full-size women's lifestyle products. It's just a different way we market it. It's a company that someone else owned that I bought in 2020. It didn't really have a lot of scale at that time. So the company didn't really have much financial value, but it had somewhat of an established brand, Instagram account, website, Facebook account, email list. And we kind of rolled that over, and it's very similar operating, than a Single Swag. So it wasn't really that challenging to include that. And I really used a lot of my digital advertising expertise to scale that business. So we basically took it from 20 subscribers at the time we bought it to within the first year, we were shipping over 10,000 boxes a month for Paradise Delivered. And it's just really a separate brand. When some people see the imagery that we use in our advertising, you can kind of recognize that the brands could be related. And when people ask us, we say it's our sister brand. But we really market them separately, try to keep them separately, but we kind of fulfill them at the same facility. There is some overlap in product, and it's also a great way for us to, from a business perspective, use a lot of excess product that we've accumulated over the years from Single Swag.
And also, I mean, you hear the word single or you hear the word solo, and it's like, oh, it's not for me because I'm a married man or something like that. And I think Paradise Delivered, that's anybody. All of us want paradise. We live in Florida. What more paradise can you get? You touched on something that I have a personal question to ask, and this would be a great platform. You talked about all the different digital market spaces and the avenues and all of that. So, and I want to talk to you about your book, and we'll do that in a couple of minutes. But my question is, you're here today, you decide to pick up, I don't know, Paradise Swag, right? New company. We'll just call it Paradise Swag. So people hear Paradise and Swag over and over and over. Paradise Swag. All right, I'm ready to do it. What would be your first step or your first point if you were teaching a class? Okay, you know what you want to do. Jason, you want to coach. Okay, now what? How do you get the clients? How do you get the following? How do you decide who to pick to do your social media? Because there's 1,000 people out there, and me, I'm a small person. I'm getting hit up by 7 or 8 people on a daily basis. Hey, take your coaching practice from 40,000 to 4 million overnight. How do you know who to trust, where to go, and what do you do as a business owner who doesn't have much on the marketing advertising background?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, and I can kind of share in detail, because when I started these companies, I didn't have that background either. And I made a lot of sacrifices, and I sacrificed things like watching TV. I sacrificed going out with friends on the weekends. I really, besides doing stuff with my son, I was focused on learning things because for me, I really didn't have the financial resources to hire one of these boutique agencies or even a smaller agencies or an employee or a college student or an intern, someone that could effectively do this. And I think, the advantage to doing that and kind of learning that skill yourself as an entrepreneur, even as an established business owner, is that when you do hire someone eventually, or you do get to a scale where you need that, you're going to have a much better understanding of it. You're going to know what they're talking about. You're going to know what they're charging you for. You're going to be able to measure their performance because you kind of understand it. So I think my advice to entrepreneurs, business owners, even someone like you, and an attorney who has a lot of different things going on, is to kind of learn as much as you can yourself. And I actually would think that your kids could probably add a lot of value to the equation potentially, but if they're willing to. My son personally has everything I do is embarrassing, no interest in doing anything related to my business, but everyone is kind of different. But I think
he forgets your business pays for all his lacrosse gear, right?
Yeah. Well,
what position is he playing these days?
Attack.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Not a long pole guy.
Yeah, I know that. I got some of your long pole gear in the mail. But yeah, I think and there's really a lot of free resources out there, and this is kind of basic stuff that everyone's aware of. But I'll just mention it that when you want to learn these skills or learn that, there's tens of thousands of YouTube videos. There's tens of thousands of tutorials. There's so much accessible information out there on how you can kind of do these things yourself, even cultivate a social media audience, create video content, stop motion. I mean, we can, spend a lot of time on that, but I think that's what I always advise people to do, is learn as much as they can. But a lot of times it's tedious. It's not easy. It takes sacrifice. And I think a lot of people aren't willing to do that because they don't have the background. But I personally think it's important.
Right. And also sometimes it's hard when you have that day job and you have to work. I'm not talking. I mean, look, I work all day long, all night long, all whatever. But, I'll take breaks in the middle of the day to, go watch my son play lacrosse or watch my daughter at a dance performance. So, you can't sacrifice that. But I mean, you got to make sacrifices. If you're not willing to work for it, nobody's going to do it for you unless you have unlimited resources, and then you can pay somebody to do it. But then what do you need it for? So it's a catch. It's a catch-22. So we were talking about so if YouTube videos, putting it out there, getting a presence, sacrifices. Anything else you would tell, like recent graduates who, I want to start my own business. I want to do it. I want to start a business.
Yeah, and you're talking about from like a digital marketing perspective.
Sure. Whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that's really it. I think that I'm a big proponent of learning as much as you can on your own, and kind of taking advantage of some of that, and really knowing what the it kind of platform is. So just a quick example: when I started Single Swag, really the platform that it was important in my view, and really I think really the e-commerce industry's view, was Instagram. So this was like 2016. Everything was on Instagram. You really had to kind of cultivate a brand on Instagram. The engagement on Instagram, the algorithm was really great for brands and kind of building that up. Now in 2023, I'm not sure that Instagram is really that same hot channel. I would probably say TikTok is more of a important channel than Instagram, and having a organic posting strategy on TikTok. I think Instagram is still important, and I think things have evolved. So now, when I started this, there wasn't really Reels. So there weren't Instagram Reels. There was just Instagram kind of static posting, stories. Even stories weren't as big. Now it's all kind of video content, real stories, things like this. So I think it's important to kind of be aware of, if you don't have a lot of free time, if you have another job, you have other stuff, where the best place to focus your time is, where you're going to get the most kind of bang for your buck.
Do you feel that there's different age? No, let me change that. Yeah, I mean, it could be age, socioeconomic, where people are at their life, professional level. Do you feel that each, like it used to be, LinkedIn was for professionals and Instagram is for more hip professionals, younger professionals, not old guys like me. And TikTok is for, the teenagers, and Facebook is for, old people, even older than me. Do you think that still applies, or is that quote unquote stereotype not accurate anymore?
Yeah, I definitely don't think it. Well, I would say that from my view and my experience from advertising on all of these platforms, and having because it's not only we have organic posting strategies where our team is kind of making content, posting it. We're also doing paid advertising on all these channels. I think I say that TikTok is really the platform, is because I think TikTok may have that stereotype of it being younger, teenage, but that's really not the case in my view. There's even attorneys like you who have gone viral multiple times on TikTok. There's different, there's lots of different professions and really adults of all ages that not only use the platform and see the advertising and engage with different creators on there, but also post and have had a success and are able to monetize that. And it's really, people are getting rich on that platform just from who are really not famous at all for any other way besides just being on TikTok and being a creator that's gone viral and that has a lot of followers. So I think for Facebook, I would say that does tend to kind of sway older. That I would say that most young people aren't, but I think every brand is unique, and everything you're selling is unique. So if you're selling lacrosse gear, you may want to get to a different audience, and if you're selling women's lifestyle subscription box versus if you're selling some type of edible item or a gym or legal services. So I think it's really more about understanding your audience and the channels that they're on. For us, for my businesses, it's really the two biggest are definitely TikTok and Instagram.
That's awesome. And for all of you young people, old people, middle-aged people, or people listening, listen. I mean, you got to know your audience. You got to do your research. Putting something up on Instagram is not going to hit the same people as Facebook and whatever else. And you just got to, and what I took from that is know your audience, know your demographics, know the people that you want. Do some research, spend the time. Don't just, look, if you're enjoying TikTok and Instagram, post, go right ahead, go for it. But it might not turn into business if you're not doing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to talking about business, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and so that we could do that. But, please check out singlesswag.com. Phenomenal Mother's Day events going on, sales, great stuff, great products. My daughter and my wife both loved their stuff. So singlesswag.com, check it out for Mother's Day. Check it out all the time, but go ahead, check it out. And we're going to come back and Jonathan, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about your Least Likely Millionaire book, because I want to hear all about it, and I want to hear when it's dropping and where it's going to sell and all that great stuff. So stay tuned, singlesswag.com. CC, take it away. Commercial.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I want to share with you a professional products and services directory we call Going Solo Directory. And you need to check this out. If you want exposure to your business or are seeking professional product or services, this directory has it all. And that membership, for the many special features, you get the benefit of a worldwide exposure with a 40-minute video interview on an international business show showcase. All this for just one low annual fee. For more information, contact GoingSoloDirectory.com.
And we are back. I am Jason Weiss on the Ask Jason Weiss Show. I have with me fellow lacrosse dad, Jonathan Beskin, owner of Paradise Delivered, which I just learned about for the first time today, and of course, Single Swag, and you can check it out, singleswag.com. But I'm hopeful that the next time I have Jonathan on, which will be probably around 6-7 months from now, I can also add to that title best-selling or platinum-selling author of his book that is set to be released, I think you said in June, but you'll correct me if I'm wrong, The Least Likely Millionaire. Love the title. Love it. I want to hear all about it. Where can we get it? Where can we read it? Because it's something that I plan on buying. So I might not be your first sale, but I will be one of your sales, 110%. So Jonathan, Least Likely Millionaire.
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing that up. And I'm going to be happy to deliver a signed copy of the book to you. So don't worry about buying one. And if you're willing to read it and help me with it, that's, and yeah, it's something that I've worked on for about 1.5 years. And it's kind of the story. Like I said, it's a memoir, and it also includes a lot of actionable takeaways that anyone can use to start a business. Some of the kind of topics we talked about earlier in the show go into specifics like that, but really some really impactful, meaningful, traumatic events that happened in my life that kind of led to that. And the subtitle, so the full title is The Least Likely Millionaire: How to Succeed When Everyone Expects You to Fail. And that's really what I kind of feel like happened in my life. So no one really thought that I was going to be successful. Just as a little background, because I didn't share it on this show, Single Swag has done over 70 million in revenue profitably in 6 years without ever raising money, without ever having a background in anything like this. So it's really been a life-changing success for me and my family. And it wasn't easy, and it was a hard road. And there are just a lot of things that happened. And, one thing is, and this is not the most important thing, but when I started the business, I had no money. So I started this business that got to 70 million with no outside capital, with about $2,000 at the time. And I really did every job. One kind of topic I talk about in the book is how you can really wear every hat. And that there was a point early on in the business where I was doing 20 jobs. So I was the merchandiser, I was the fulfillment professional, I was the customer service agent, I was the marketing manager, I was everything for the business. And I talk about how that, and I mentioned this earlier in the show, it really has helped me build a skill set that I'm confident can help me in any business. And that if I were to lose everything and not be a millionaire anymore, that I could do it again. And that I prior to this, this event or this life change in my life, I had neuroticism about business and about risk taking. And I think, one of the most important things that it's done for me in this kind of journey I've been on is that it's given me the confidence that I can do it again. And I am good enough, and that all the people that doubted me, because there were people that told me even this idea wouldn't work. I mean, forget about the people that when I was growing up in Boca, and I grew up with a single mom who was a teacher. I would be at different people's houses and country club, and some kids would get invited to stay for dinner. I usually wouldn't. If kids got blamed for something, if a group of kids were hanging out, I was always the one that got blamed. I just had a lot of stuff in it. It really just put a chip on my shoulder, and that I was going to make this happen. The negative side of it is that that doesn't go away, and it's not like a switch that I can turn off, and all these kind of emotions. And it ends up that I end up spending a lot of time and really wasting a lot of time caring too much about what people who are really irrelevant and don't really matter in my life or my family's life care about what they think. And I really wish that I could easily turn that off. I think as I'm getting older, it's definitely getting better. One specific concept that I'll just mention briefly, and then I guess I'll turn it back to you, is what I call a healthy obsession. And it's a way that you can kind of channel your anxiety and an anxious way of thinking into being more productive, and how you can leverage, sometimes paranoid thoughts, sometimes catastrophization in your thought, and kind of tree branching and jumping to conclusions, how you can channel that in a positive way to think about your business in different ways, to think about every angle of your business, to become obsessed and immersed in what you're doing at the time. Maybe it's not business. Maybe you're trying to run a marathon or become the best athlete you can be. Maybe you're trying to become a better lacrosse player, and you're thinking about every detail of how you move your feet and how you do this. Thinking about things in an obsessive way is a way to channel that for a positive outcome and something you're trying to achieve. For me, that was really changing my life financially for me and my family, scaling a business. But when you're obsessed with something, people sometimes assume that it's negative, that is not something that is kind of mentally healthy for me, and I would advocate for others potentially as well. It's something that can actually increase happiness and really help you achieve goals by reframing the way you think about things. And like I said, channeling those thoughts into something positive.
So one of my favorite characters in movies, Benjamin Gates from National Treasure, when he's talking to Riley Poole and they're going ahead and they're getting ready to meet Abigail Chase for the first time, they're talking about they need to steal the Declaration of Independence. And Gates asks Riley, what's one step below, or what, something along, and they say obsessive. And Gates says, no, passionate. So I think your obsession it's connotated negatively, unfortunately. I'm obsessed with, drinking Red Bull or running or doing this. But if you say I'm passionate about it, well, that's great. That's where it's all about. It's all about your passion. If you can follow your passion. One of the other things that touched on, it's huge, is what you said about getting to know every single part of your business, from how to make the box to how to fill the box, how to take it to get it shipped, how to deal with the post office and the mailman and the mailwoman and the FedEx delivery person and all that from start to finish. I really understood and learned how to practice law when I left all the firms and I had to do everything myself, from filing something electronically to putting stamps on an envelope to return address labels. And then when I had to hire an attorney to help me out on some things, I really, really got to learn. So one of the things for me, and I was forced into it. It wasn't, like, oh, I want to hire an attorney for whatever. Like, I hired an attorney, and, not hearing back from an email that I sent 48 hours ago infuriated me. Not getting a response right away pissed me off. Getting a bill and it had wrong entries on it blew my mind. I opened up a bill from an attorney and it was like 20 grand. I'm like, holy cow, what the heck? And I went through the bill line by line, and I'm like, not my matter, not my matter, not my matter. And that bill was literally a couple $1,000s, which is all it should have been, but it was just mistake. So I learned all of that. I also learned, like, I don't want to go sit in a lawyer's office and wait a half hour after my appointment time. So I make sure I'm 5 minutes early, and you get to learn that. So back to what you said, if you know every part of your business and you find out that the box that's being delivered, and this is not the case, doesn't come as pristine as you would like, well, you're going to figure it out. You're going to put extra security over it, or you're going to do this, or a tamper-proof this, or a tamper-proof that. You learn by being hands-on. But at the same time, if you're a control freak like me, it's hard to let things go. And I think that's my biggest thing. I need to be involved. No letter goes out from my office without two sets of eyes on it. Thankfully, I now have a great team where I don't have to be that second set of eyes. Somebody else can be that second set of eyes. And I figure if I have two people that can't catch something, then it's my fault. And it's real hard to let go. The other comment, which hits home for me, you talked about, I didn't have a single parent. I have both my parents, knock wood. But, lower end of the economic spectrum, growing up in Coral Springs, which was just one step below Boca. And, people used to say, Boca, it's such a rough, tough neighborhood. You don't drive, a BMW, they're going to throw you out. But think about how that affects those of us whose parents didn't drive BMWs. I mean, my parents, for the first time in their entire life, are driving a luxury car. First time. My mom is 70 plus. We'll put it at that, because you never tell a woman's age. She's driving her first Lexus. Everything else was Nissan and Chevy, good cars. She finally has a little bit of money. Growing up, Target for clothing, that kind of stuff. And the ridicule, oh my Lord. So I get it, the voices. But Jonathan, the one thing I will tell you, and you don't need to hear it from me, but more the audience, let people talk. You got to just let it. Okay. What effect does it have on your life? Now, if it's, your financial institution and they're lending and they don't like what okay, that makes sense. But if it's some schmo online who says, the picture said it was going to be a pink sweater and it's blue. So, that type of thing. But you be proud, always do it. I mean, you got a book coming out in June. That's awesome. I've wanted to write a book for years and I just haven't gotten around to it. You have a digital marketing agency. You have Paradise Delivered. You have Single Swag. Like, dude, you are a success story and you need to remember that always, 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 always. And instill it in your son. I'm sure you do. Do you find that sometimes difficult when, and I can relate, when you struggle for everything and that you want your kid or your kids to work for things, but at the same time you want to give them things? How do you as a dad, how do you balance that? Because that's something I deal with every day.
Yeah, it's a big struggle, and it's definitely something that I think about because I'm sure, like you, I want my kids to have a better life than I did, and I want them to have the things that, I want him to have the things that I didn't have when I was growing up, and have access to all the resources and be successful. And if that takes a lot of my help, I think, I also don't want him to become one of these people that I grew up and kind of still hate. And the people that, so it's kind of where do you strike that balance, and how do you get there? And I think it's challenging because kids are influenced by other kids and other things. So I guess there's for me, I try to control what I can control. Some of these outside interactions are more challenging to control and keep them disciplined and focused on the right things and about your future, while still being able to be a carefree kid and not have to worry about some of the mature things. But yeah, I think it's a constant struggle to have a kid who's growing up in a privileged way, and have such a hatred sometimes and such animosity towards privileged people.
I mean, look, I had to work all through high school, all through college, not for necessities of life. Like, thank God my parents, food, never had to worry about food being on the table, and never had to worry about clean clothing, and the washing machine worked and the dishwasher worked and all of that. But, I didn't drive a fancy car. I didn't have a car, and the deal was, Jason, you're more than welcome to borrow dad's car when he's not using it for work. Or you could borrow mom's minivan when she's not using it for work. But, you want to go to Fort Lauderdale to see your friends or go watch something, you got to pay for the ticket. You got to pay for the parking. You got to pay for the gas. So what did I have to do? I had to go get a job. So my son, 16 years old, has access to a car whenever he needs it. It's not his, but he has access to it. It's a nice car because A, I want to be able to drive it, and B, I put safety features on it, like a steel bumper. So God forbid he hits someone, he will be okay. But at the same time, he borrows the car. He goes to, like we used to probably go to McDonald's and Burger King, for dinners with our friends. He's going for sushi, and he's going to Chipotle, and he's going to, Yard House and all these great places. And I'm getting a $30 bill for the kid to have dinner. Now, granted, he has to eat 3 dinners to fill himself up. But, still, I fed myself, my wife, and my daughter for the same $30 that I spent on my son, so him to go out with friends. But where do you draw the line? He does well in school. He does well in lacrosse. He works hard. He's respectful. He's responsible. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do drugs. So I want to do. But at the same time, he's 16. By the time I was 16, I was working 2 jobs.
Yeah. I had a job when I was 14, and I grew up in a similar way. I mean, it wasn't like I was so poor or my so poor that I was out on the street. I mean, I had clothes on my back. I had that. I had a car. But some of it was paid for by myself. It was not fancy, but I did start working at 14, and I'm not sure if I want my son with other things have to worry about that. I feel fortunate that he doesn't need to work to get some of the things. And as long as he's staying responsible, I think, when I say for me, being like the least likely millionaire is not just about that I grew up with nothing. I think there are some more elements about, starting a business with nothing and scaling it to the level we did. But there were some other things that happened. There's some, family dynamics, which are in the book, but I don't really think have time for to go in today. And like I said, I mean, I was hospitalized as an adult for mental illness, and I've had a lot of struggles with anxiety and depression. And I think that, having that combined with all these things really made the probability of this story and this success happening even less likely. So that's kind of where that comes from.
And it's funny, we all struggle with something, and not everybody is as open, depression, anxiety, therapy, coaching. I mean, that's kind of why I got into coaching. I have at least one coach at any given moment, most of the time 2 coaches. I have a life coach and a business coach. My life coach, Judy, phenomenal lady. I speak with her what's going on. I get some insight. I get some, get my head on straight, a little kick in the butt every once in a while. I have my business coach or business coaches. This is what you got to do. This is where you got to focus. It's there. And it's funny because, when we were growing up, if neither one of our parents would probably say, oh yeah, I went to a business coach, or that was unheard of. I remember talking to my parents about, hey, look, I want to go into coaching. And my mom was like, coaching? What's that all about? And now everybody has a coach. and it's PC is the way to do it. And it's great. And that's part of why I'm getting into more and more on the coaching side and getting less and less on the attorney side. And I'm also, focusing on mediations, focusing on coaching, and just seeing what else is out there and how to help people. So for all of you people that need help, and you got 10 days till Mother's Day, get on the internet, that funky new creation, and check out singleswag.com. You can also check out Paradise Delivered. And Jonathan, if people want to go ahead and pre-order your book, is it on Amazon yet or not quite yet?
It's not quite yet. It will be soon, but definitely the next time we connect, if that's 6-7 months, it'll be fully released. But yeah, it'll be in every major kind of website, barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com. It's likely going to have some retail distribution as well. A place like Barnes and Noble. I'm also hoping to get in some airport gift shops, like a hardcover. But yeah, it's definitely, there's going to be an audiobook as well. It won't be my voice because I'm very annoyed by my own voice. So hopefully it'll be a better voice that people like. But yeah.
I like your voice. It's very nice. It's very soothing. You're not monotone. It's enjoyable. So if normally I throw out, the toughest question of the day and all of that, but we've gone through a lot, and I've had you, twice on the show, and I definitely having you a third time when your book hits. Check out the book. Check out singleswag.com. If there's any one piece of advice that you could say to, I don't know, somebody who's maybe graduating from college today that we both know, and finishing up, one piece of advice for, the new graduating class about, what would it be?
Well, I think that they should just do it, and they should just move forward. I think we're in a constantly shifting kind of environment, economic environment. I'm reading articles that within a short period of time, artificial intelligence is going to replace like a significant amount of jobs. So I think the more you can learn, even if you're not successful in your first venture, even in your first few ventures, the better, you're going to be in the long run. And I think there's a lot of opportunities out there. I think people give themselves excuses or listen to the noise that other people tell them, like that's too crowded a space. They don't have enough money. They don't have backing. They can't do it. Those are all excuses that I don't believe in. And I think that you just got to get started, and good luck.
And find something you're passionate about, because if you're passionate about it, then it's not work. And if it's not work, then you're going to wake up happy to go do it. But if you wake up every single morning and it's like, ugh, I got to do this, or like I spoke with someone today, what good is if you've got that Ferrari or Lamborghini sitting in your driveway, but you don't have the time to drive it? What good does that do? So ladies and gentlemen, think about that. Go on singleswag.com. Make sure you get mom something. Don't forget her. Check out Paradise Delivered. Be on the lookout for The Least Likely Millionaire. And thank Jonathan with me for being here today. Jonathan, as always, such a pleasure. Looking forward to reading your book when it's out. Looking forward to celebrating Mother's Day. And thank you again.
Thank you, Jason. Enjoyed being on, and I look forward to connecting again soon. Thanks.
Thanks. Thank you, Cece, for all the back end stuff. GoingSoloMedia.com. Thank you so much. And everybody have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.